Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Trevor, and I will be your stripper today. And today we are stripping down this 1964 Morris Mini Cooper S. I've never dipped a Mini Cooper before, and I'm pretty sure this is the smallest car we've ever done. I'm really excited to do this thing. It looks like the paint's going to be pretty simple on it. We do have a decent amount of rust, but let's have a quick look at this before we get it in the tank. So up front here, you can see it looks like they already tried to sand off a lot of the paint. And we have some surface rust in a few areas. Come around to the side. Looks pretty straight. We do have some rust holes in the rockers and back on the quarters. The floor looks really solid. Just some surface rust. We do have some rust holes coming through there. On the other side, I'm guessing this paint's just gonna melt off. It looks pretty weathered. Come around to the back and the trunk area. Pretty solid back here. Pretty much just surface rust. Come around to the passenger side. We have a few dents. Nothing too ridiculous though. Have a closer look at these rockers. You can see all that rock coming through there. Have a look from this side. And I also found a little treat in there. A nice can of Mick Ultra. Not my type of beer, but to each his own. And we'll come back to the front. So there was no real good structural places to tie this without damaging it. So I built a rack out of Unistrut to lower it down. This car's crazy light too. Two of us just picked it up, no problem. But I'm gonna get this thing in the tank and I'll see you guys in a few days when I pressure wash it.
Right here, we're lowering it in our Alkaline paint stripper and degreaser. Like I said, it's gonna be in here for about 2 days, then we're gonna pull it out, pressure wash it, and see if there's any paint left.
So this one was actually a one and done dip in the Alkaline. It took one dip and it took all the paint off. I didn't have time to go over it.
But here you can see it's going in our rust removing acid bath, and it's also going to remain in here for a few days, and then we're going to pull it out, pressure wash it, and see what rust is left.
So we just got the car in the tank, and I'm going to address one of the most asked questions I get in my comments, and that is, what would happen if I fell into this tank? Well, the tanks are heated to about 180 degrees, so I'd definitely get burnt. The chemical's not as aggressive as people think it is, but it does tingle when it hits your skin, and I'd probably come out hairless. But accidents happen all the time, inside and outside the workplace. The majority of people who are injured in accidents end up never filing a claim, or when they do file a claim, they're completely lowballed by insurance companies. But in reality, their case could have been worth millions of dollars. If you're ever hurt or in an accident, you could check out Morgan & Morgan. They're America's biggest injury law firm, and they're the biggest for a reason. They win a lot. One awesome thing about Morgan & Morgan is they modernize the law process. You can communicate with your legal team and file a claim all from your smartphone. And it only takes a few minutes to see if you have a case. And I'll just show you how easy it is.
Open your browser, type www.forthepeople.com/MOD. Scroll down, put your first name, your last name, your phone number. I'm not going to give you my real phone number, your zip code, then your email address. And then we're going to choose our case type. We're going to choose slip and fall, and I fell in a hot chemical tank. Then hit submit and your claim is filed.
It's that simple. It only takes a few moments of your time, and there's no upfront charge. The only way they get paid is if you get paid. You can start a claim with America's largest law firm just by clicking the link in the description below. And if you click the link, you can see some of the past cases where Morgan & Morgan has won a substantial amount of money for their clients. There's one particular case in Jacksonville, Florida, where the pretrial offer was only $20,000 and Morgan & Morgan ended up getting them $120 million. That just goes to show how much insurance companies lowball you. But you can visit www.forthepeople.com/MOD to start your claim today. You can check out Morgan & Morgan. So I just finished the first pressure washing of the Mini Cooper after its acid dip, and this thing's pretty rusty. It's definitely gonna have to go in again. There's a lot of rust holes on this thing. We're gonna have a quick look at it before we get it back in the tank. So up front here, everything's pretty solid. Overall, this car's in pretty decent shape. A lot of the rust is in the rockers and in the floor. Come around to the side here, you can see these rockers are all rotted out. And we have, you can see this thick rust that came off in here. There was a bunch of it just blasting away, smacking me in the face. And you can see on the passenger side, it's even worse. But the floor is in pretty decent shape. We don't have any rust holes coming through anywhere. Fenders or quarters look pretty straight on this side. The other side, there's some damage. The roof looks pretty good. We'll come back to the trunk area. And you can see this came off. I wonder if this was riveted in and it just took the rivets out. But as you can see, here, let me turn my light on real quick. As you can see, we have some rust holes coming through in a few spots. Right there. Some rust in the battery box, but it's actually not rotted out too bad. Come around to the passenger quarter. You can see this is where that dent was. A little bit of damage. But all in all, things in all right shape. You can see these rockers are complete Swiss cheese. But it's gonna go in for another acid dip. It is Friday, it'll be pulled out Monday, and hopefully this thing is done. So you can see here we are now lowering the Mini Cooper into our alkaline bath to neutralize the acid. It's going to remain in here for about 10 minutes. Then we're going to pull it out, pressure wash it, apply a water-based rust inhibitor, and we're going to have a quick look at it. The 1964 Morris Mini Cooper S is finally finished. We got this thing down to bare metal. Now I do have to say this car was pretty easy in the paint aspect. It was basically a one and done. The paint just came off so easily, basically just melted off. As for the rust, this thing was very rusty. There was some thick rust in a few spots, and that took a little bit of time. But this is the first Mini Cooper I've ever dipped, and it was a really awesome experience to dip this thing. But we're gonna have a quick look at this, and we're gonna see what kind of condition this thing is in. So you can see up front here, everything's pretty solid. It's a little boogered up near the bottom there, but the firewall, we just have a little bit of pitting around the seams, and everything seems to be pretty good. Not a lot of rust holes coming through there. Have a look at the fender. There are some creases and dents all over this body, but nothing too crazy. We do have some rust holes coming through there. And you can see on the roof where all the pitting was. Some spots were painted, some spots were rust, and you can see the texture difference. Have a look at these rockers. You can see they're completely rotted out. Have a look at the floor. A lot of pitting in the floor. Some rust holes coming through, and you can see the opposing rocker from this side. It's just all rotted out there. Have a look at these quarters. Some rust holes coming through. Come to the back. And it's actually not too bad back here. We do have some rot coming through in a few areas, but pretty solid. You can see the floor is a little crinkled up. Passenger side quarter. Nice crease there. And you can see these rockers are just Swiss cheese. Have a look at the floor from the passenger side, and you can see a better look at how those rockers are on the driver's side. Just all tore up. And come back to the front. So as you can see, there are a few rough areas on this car, but all in all, it's pretty solid. It definitely turned out to be in a little better shape than I anticipated, which is always a good thing for the owner. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making it for you. And as of this video, we have passed 500,000 subscribers, which is absolutely amazing. I never thought that would happen. Never thought this page would blow up like it did. And I appreciate every single one of you so much for tuning in all the time and watching towards the end of the videos. And I thank you guys for that. And I will see you at the next car.